Juris Vilums is the member of Latvian Parliament. It is his third time having elected to the Saeima, the Parliament of the Republic of Latvia, since the year 2011. Today he holds the positions of Chairman of the Group for the Support for Tibet and Secretary of the Foreign Affairs Committee. He is also the Deputy Chairman of the United List Parliamentary Group and an active member of the Baltic Assembly, a parliamentary cooperation organizations of the three Baltic States. Today we are honored to be having this conversation with Honorable Member of Parliament Juris Vilums.
Namaste.
Welcome to Tibet TV. Juris, I want to ask, despite many political hurdles, Latvia today, like many other countries, is still interested in China as a market for exports. But Latvia has, however, been a very strong supporter of Tibet, and it has a supportive stance for Tibet, largely because of its own history of, often rooted in empathy, because of its own history of occupation by Soviet Union. And the Parliamentary Group for Tibet in Latvian Parliament is the work that you guys are doing is absolutely commendable. And I would like to ask you if you could briefly introduce our audience the current membership of the Latvian Parliamentary Support Group for Tibet and the functions of the Parliamentary Support Group for Tibet.
Okay, so many questions in the first moment, but it's okay. I will try to briefly really answer. We actually have already a history of our group, because when Dalai Lama came to Latvia, of course, then many politicians were happy to be in a Tibetan supporting group, and even I was lucky in 2011 to meet him, and it was maybe as well one of the reasons why I came to a group. And second one is because I'm representing a regional, let's say, identity, even in small country as Latvia is, and other colleagues who are from other regions just involved me. And in Latvia, indeed, we understand what is communism, because 50 years we were occupied, and even yesterday I told history about my grandfather who was in prison for 10 years just because he helped national partisan movement. And of course, in that time, it was not too easy to keep our culture alive. It was communist regime was not very friendly to Latvian language, and especially for my regional language, which is Latgalian language. Latgalian language was forbidden for almost 50 years. It was not allowed to be in school, to teach language, to print newspapers and books. It was even not allowed to speak publicly in Latgalian language. So I see a lot of similarities actually in that nation history and in our stories, how we are living now, because we are all trying to keep our traditions, our language, and give those knowledge to our children. So it's common in everywhere.
All right. What's the current membership of the Latvian support group, Parliamentary Support Group for Tibet?
We are small. Mm-hmm. We are very small, but I'm happy that in this parliament, which is working already 3.5 years, we had approximately 10% of 10 members of parliament were in this group, because we have 100. But of course, we have system when those members of Saeima and Parliament, they are changing time by time, because someone is a minister becoming, or someone is not anymore member of Parliament because of health or something else happens, and so it is changing. But as well in Latvia we have quite big Taiwan supporter group, and so we are trying to cooperate, because if we look more deeply on work of Tibet supporting group, Taiwan supporting group, the main issue is same. It's a so-called People's Republic of China, yeah. And even I am in IPAC, I think already your viewers know what is IPAC, but it is International Parliamentarian
Alliance on China.
Alliance on China, yeah, and in that way we are trying to get around the one table those politicians who are supporting Tibet and who are supporting Taiwan. Doesn't matter, because it is good to have connections in one country with the parliamentarians from Baltic States, and as well we are trying to organize bigger group and work on a daily basis with our Scandinavian partners, because how I told, China is actually on the ground of those problems, and in our part where we are living, there is going war now between Russia and Ukraine, and actually China is helping quite openly, or not very openly, but anyway, it's helping for Russia to make that aggression war against Ukraine. So we are really indeed interested in that peace will be in the whole world, and I will be happy if Tibet will be free, and then you will have possibility to go to your relatives.
Yeah. Many diplomatic engagements, meetings, testimonies and campaigns are being carried out, led by Central Tibetan Administration, and then there are Tibetan non-governmental organizations, Tibetan parliamentarians and other rights groups and Tibet support groups in Europe, largely focusing on highlighting Tibet's historical independence, advocating for the middle way approach policy in order to resolve the protracted Sino-Tibetan conflict, and then to counter the distorted China's narrative on Tibet. And you can see with this growing Tibetan diplomacy and advocacy in Europe, there are a growing number of, or say growing interest of China in that region as well. China is sending its own so-called Tibetologist in Europe. Last year in 2024, China has sent a group of so-called Tibetologists to Latvia and Estonia. So with such extension of Beijing's propaganda in Europe, and especially in your country, the people and government of Latvia is now faced with moral choice, whether to accept China's distorted narrative or to stand in solidarity with and support Tibet's pursuit for justice and freedom. So what would you like to say to the people and government of Latvia and your neighboring countries in Europe?
Yes. First of all, I want to tell that those all documents what we have around the world and in Europe, that we are statements and so on, I will be honest, I don't believe on that results from them, because of course China and other totalitarian regimes are not very happy about those statements, but we can see that for decades it is not changing situation in reality. And even now we can see that it is not so easy to keep that in international law-based system. About Latvia, I can tell, yes, that there's still big influence from China. We have Chinese embassy in Latvia. I personally believe that Chinese ambassadors and diplomats, they are cooperating with Russian diplomats, and of course we should be aware. The good thing is that in Latvian so-called security protocol, already many years we are mentioned that biggest threat is Russia, and next biggest threat actually is China. So as well in that kind of statement we already written that Latvia understands that dangers which can come, which are coming even to my country and to Europe and to the whole world. And of course we should be more active, but I will be honest to you, I'm not very happy about my government and about maybe sometimes foreign affairs minister because sometimes I don't understand where is the problem to talk about Tibet issue more openly. Because, as you mentioned already, we don't have so big export to China. Of course, we have huge import, as many countries has, but of course, I believe that there is much more important things, not just the money or economics or import and export. And we need to keep it in our mind. And we as a politicians, we need to be more brave. We need to be more active, of course. Everyone is still saying that, but we need to do real actions, not just statements. Even as yesterday, I mentioned that sportsman from Ukraine who was disqualified actually just because on his helmet is those 24 athletes from Ukraine who died, and Olympics Society of Olympics disqualified him. Why? But it is an example sometimes that you need to act, and then you can show what is true and where is true and which side it is.
Right. One of the most recent claims and distorted narratives on Tibet by China is its recent claims on the legitimacy and authority over recognition and selection of Tibetan religious figures, including and most prominently that of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So US Congress, Canadian House of Commons, the European Parliament have passed resolutions condemning China's claims and we see there are many parliaments in the world that has parliamentary support group for Tibet and Friends of Tibet bringing this issue up and then, openly criticizing Chinese government over these illegitimate claims. Do you see, I absolutely understand the Latvian Parliamentary Group for Tibet is small, but it's very powerful and strong. Do you see the Latvian Parliamentary Group for Tibet passing or introducing such kind of resolution in support for Tibetan freedom and Tibetan self-determination anytime soon?
I will work on it. I will be honest and very frank to you. The worst thing in that is that we will have elections this year in autumn. So we'll see how it will go. My idea is that it will be good and even better to try to put on that statement different kinds of arguments based on Tibet situation, based on Taiwan situation, based on Falun Gong followers, human organ harvesting things, and because it is very important to explain to our politicians and our societies that behind so many problems there is, how I told before, there is one basement, in those all problems. And we will try the best in Latvian Parliament, and we also already made some preparations in IPAC as well, because there is already some job done to help for politicians, and we need to do our part of stuff. Even now, when I'm here in Ramsala, I see that Dalai Lama is already in some way he is already reborn, because we see parliament in exile, you have your government in exile, you have schools, you have media, you have a lot of things done in that time when you became in exile. And that kindness and compassion, what we hear so many times, it's really, I can see it, I can feel it, and I'm happy, and I will be happy to share it. In some way, if even I'm not a Buddhist, I already see that reincarnation. Sorry if I'm not very polite to those old terms, but that reborning, how I'm telling, it's already happening. We are on the process already. So from one man who was a spiritual leader and a political leader, now you have so huge active society, NGOs and so on, what I already mentioned. So it's very important, and that is very good example for every other nations who are trying to be independent or to get some autonomous culture or things or so on and so on. So it is very important, and that is the most important, what I wanted to tell in this short video.
Thank you. My last question. What kind of opportunities do you see for us to grasp in Europe in order to, strengthen our support and our efforts towards resolution of the Sino-Tibetan conflict?
I see it like that. We need to bring together those politicians in every country who understands what China is, how already told, Taiwanese supporters, Tibetan supporters and others, so to establish more active groups inside one country. And then I see that it's very important to have regional level cooperation in the Baltic States, in the Scandinavian, in the Nordic part of Europe, and in all Europe. We already have some members of parliament in European Parliament, so we need to collect them as well and bring all those politicians around the one table. And the biggest aim, I will say like that, I will formulate like that. Today, I don't see any really strong international organization who can really provide those ideas and those things what we need and Tibet need. Maybe it is a time when we need to talk, and I hope that it will be faster than it's usually, and maybe we need finally establish some new organization, international organization. I will be honest, maybe without some superpowers what we have in the world, because not any country, any state can have a veto right on the issue of real violation. I have no words to explain. It is not logically.
Yes. Thank you, Juris.
Thank you
for all your Tibet advocacy work and for standing with us. We highly appreciate the time that you have given us for this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I will definitely come back.
Thank you. That was Honorable Member of Latvian Parliament Juris Vilums with us in this episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV. Thank you for watching.